Am I audible to you? Students in the online, am I audible? Okay. Next, let us start with multi-threading. Come in, ma'am. So, multi-threading in Python. So, let's start discussing about what will be the index which I am going to cover here. Carefully listen. So, here I am going to talk about, it's also important when you go to any product-based companies, server level development using Python implementation, you will come across this multi-threading. Okay. Smaller companies, they won't ask anything about multi-threading. We'll discuss it. Purpose of multi-threading. Why this multi-threading is required, we'll discuss. Next, types of applications. Types of applications. There we'll talk about A, process-based applications. Process-based applications. So next we will talk about thread-based applications. Thread-based applications. Right? There we will talk about it. Next, development of our concept is development of thread-based applications is the next version we'll enter. And next we'll go for module name required for developing thread-based application. Thread-based applications. Module name developed for module name required for developing thread-based applications. And next followed by detailed discussion about the module. What is the module name here we are using? Threading. Threading is the module name. Threading is the module name. Like socket module, pickle module, OS module, like sys module, like come in. Threading module we will use it. So detailed discussion about thread module. So there we are talking about detailed discussion about threading module. So there I will talk. Detailed discussion about threading module. What are the functions present in that? What are the classes present in that? We'll discuss about all those things. That is a detailed discussion required for development of thread-based applications. Followed by next programming examples. Programming examples. This is a first level coding. Next level, if you come, there you will come across deadlocks. That is nothing but, I can write like this. OS based concept it is. Synchronization concept of OS in threading. Synchronization concept of OS in threading. There I am talking about deadlock occurrence and detection. Deadlock occurrence and detection. Next I am going to talk about implementation of deadlocks. Implementation and elimination of deadlocks. There I am going to talk about lock class of which module? Threading module will discuss, followed by programming examples. So this is the next topic. This is the second level programming of threading. So this is what I'm going to discuss. So this will take 3 days. And listen, today I'm going to give you the introduction of why threading is. I'm going to show some programming, non-threading examples and then threading examples. What is the difference between all of them? We are going to discuss. So let's start the threading example. how threading is there. So it is having right now zero knowledge is available at this stage. Let's start with beginning of the discussion. So see the students, I'm going to introduce saying here paint. Come to one example. I hope that you have some awareness about OS. Look into that. This is my system. This is my system. It's my PC. In this, I'm having a OS called what you know. I'm having one OS. Some OS is available. So I'm having Windows 10. I'm having Windows 10 OS. How this Windows 10 OS is providing the services to various apps which I'm opening it. Look into that. Now I'm taking one application I'm opening. What is that I'm opening here? I am opening Python command prompt I am opening. So I'm opening Python CMD. Command prompt I am opening. Python CMD open. Right. So to the Python command prompt, who will provide services? Come on, operating system provides resources to my applications or not? So if you maintain just like silence, no use of it. Windows command prompt is called one Python application I have opened. Who will provide the services to my Windows command Python command prompt? OS. Without OS, no work will can be done. Right? So OS is a main important component. Next I'm opening here. Next I'm opening here. I've opened something like I opened PyCharm. I opened it. PyCharm opened it. Who will provide the services for PyCharm? OS. Next, I will open one more type of thing because introduction class is important. Why threading is required? Come in. Why threading is required? So here I'm going to say, I opened it. Jupyter Notebook I opened. Jupyter Notebook I opened it. Who will provide the services for it? Right. Same. Next, I will go for one more type of thing. I opened it. Here I am opening it. Oracle database I opened it. Oracle database. Also providing the services from same. Now I will open. Now I also opened MySQL database also opened. MySQL DB is also opened. Easy to understand because awareness is important. MySQL DB is also opened. Next I will open it. Like I opened the paint screen also opened. Paint for drawing and explaining this. Paint. So paint also opened. It is also one app. Next time opened it. One more kind of thing. Here I opened it. Something like I opened it. Ideally also I opened it. Ideally. Next I opened one browser. I opened it. Browser. Some internet app I opened it. Browser. Browser I opened it. Next I opened it. One media player also opened. Some Spotify. I just opened it. Some sort of songs listening. So Spotify. You just opened it. So try to understand students here. Now see, for all these apps which I opened it, who will provide the services? OS. So if you want to get the services for every sort of app which you open, Windows OS will provide a certain type of flow of control. Such a type of flow of control is called thread. Internally, it is called as what? Thread. First word I am writing it. Windows OS is providing a separate flow of control to provide the services for the Spotify. That separate flow of control is called what? Thread. Next, Windows OS will provide a separate flow of control for what? Python related services. What is that flow of control is called? Thread. Also providing the services for PyCharm, also called as thread. Jupyter Notebook also getting the services from OS. That is also called as thread. Windows OS is providing the services for Oracle DB also. It is also called one type of what? Thread. MySQL also will get the services from this. That means what are all the apps you created? For all the apps, what are created? What are all the created? A separate flow is created. Such a type of flows are called what? Threads we can call. Now tell me, what is the thread? What did you understand about the thread? You tell me. A thread is a flow of control created by an underlying OS for providing the services to all my opened apps. Is listen. So all those things are called what? Thread. All those things are called what? Thread. So such a type of threads are going to be called what? Lightweight components in the present world. So all sorts of OSs which are available in the present world are called thread-based OSs. They are called. I'm telling about its real-time implementation about threads. I'm not talking about here academics, right? This is called one type of thread. This is called one type of thread. So my Windows OS provides what? Multiple flow of controls to provide multiple services to my apps. Is called what? Threads. Take one more example. Here I am writing thread. I will give general knowledge example also so that you can understand, because technically to understand some awareness is required, because you need to open multiple apps. A thread is nothing but a flow of control. A flow of control is called what? Is called what? Thread. What is the basic advantage of threads? I'll give you if you are understanding. And here you tell me, the way which you are providing, the way which you are writing this Windows OS is providing the services for what? Multiple apps are working one after the other or all at once? Are they working all at once or one after the other? All at once. All at once executing are called concurrent execution, we can call. All at once are executing in their way. That is known as what? Concurrent execution. One after the another execution is called sequential execution, we can call. One more example I will give you. If you did not get the word concurrent execution, sequential execution, there are two types of executions are available. One is sequential execution, one more is concurrent execution. What is sequential execution? What is concurrent execution? I will give you. Because of threading programming only, we will get the concurrent execution. The main purpose of threads, the main purpose of multi-threading, the main purpose of multi-threading is that to provide what execution? Concurrent execution. I will give you the meaning of it. Concurrent execution. Concurrent execution or what? Simultaneous execution. Simultaneous execution. Simultaneous execution, also called as what? Parallel processing. Parallel processing. Parallel processing we can call. Simultaneous, concurrent and parallel processing we can call. Now I will give you what is the meaning of parallel processing, concurrent execution and all those things one by one. Don't worry at present. If you want to understand at your stage and if you want any general awareness, I'll give you one more thing. Okay, one more, let me give you the real-time product example. Let me tell you. This is called Gmail server. In servers, let me come to the server stage. Now this is called a server. This is called a server, Gmail server. Gmail server containing one type of web application. Web application, what is that is called? www.gmail.com. This is my application which is deployed in the server across the globe. How many people are accessing? Come on, try to understand. Across the globe, how many people are accessing? Some trillions and millions of the people are accessing or not? So many number of people are accessing. These are all called what? Internet user 1, Internet user 1, Internet user 2, Internet user 2, Internet user 2, Internet user 3, some lakhs and crores of people are using. Like this, some lakhs and crores of the people are using it. So I'm trying to write it here. Some lakhs and crores of the people are using. So crores of users. Crores of users are using. How they are accessing? Are they accessing one by one or all at once? Come on. That means in the server, what is written? A beautiful threading applications are written. So when you come to Django level, when you develop any Django web-based application, that web-based application is by default put it into existing inbuilt server. Apache servers are there. BE web application servers are there, web servers are there. When you keep your application, web application in the servers will take the responsibility of providing your application to be accessed concurrently by multiple internet users. This makes you to understand that parallel processing will be taken place our internet world. The total internet world is running on what? Sequential execution or concurrent execution? The beauty behind that, the way which I am getting the services from Gmail server is coming to what? Thread. What is the thread? A flow of control is called thread. So I'm getting the services from my Gmail. So server is a dedicatedly create one thread for us. My request, my response will be taken care by my Gmail server. Here also this is called thread. Like that I am having what? Thousands of threads. When the particular person is completed, even he says sign out, the thread will be destroyed. I hope. What is the purpose of threading? To provide what execution? Concurrent execution. So in the memory of server, how many threads are there? Some crores of threads are there. So that's application which contains multiple threads is known as which program? Multi-threaded program we can call. If you are not able to get it, so threading is used in where? Server development. Threading is used in where? OS development. Threading is used in mobile applications. Threading is used in everywhere else wherever there is a concurrency is permitted. Now coming to, if you are unable to get this point, I will tell you one more example for you. And a general example about yourself. You are a person. I am writing here. You are a student. Now I hope you can connect to me. I hope you will connect to me. So you are a student. Student in the sense in my example, it is called Python program. He is called my student. So is called the student. And it is called what? Python program I am writing. For you to understand easily. What are you doing in the class? Tell me that I want to listen from you. What are you doing in the class? If you tell, then I will move forward. Come on, first thing. Number one. Come on. Listening. Okay, number one is called what? Listen. This is called listen. What is listening? Okay, next. Understanding. Whatever you are doing, tell me quickly. Next. Responding. Some of the people who are interested. Responding. Next, what are you doing? You are observing on the screen. Right or not? Next, what are you doing? Writing. Are you writing now? మాట్లాడితే తప్పే. So coming to the, come on, next. That is nothing but observing, responding. Responding is nothing but speaking only. Observing. Next, what are you doing? Are you taking breathing or not? No, no. I think garbage collector is running. So breathing, these are all called what? This is called one operation. Operation means what? One function. This is also called what? Another type of function. This is also called one more type of function. Carefully observe, students. Threading is dead easy. Thread with whoops, thread with functional programming. Once again, come here. And breathing is called what? is also called one more type of function. Are you doing one after the other or all at once? All at once. Sit properly. So coming to the point of it, this is called what in my class? T1. What is T1? Object of thread class. Come on, come to subject quickly. What is T1? Object of thread class. What is T2? Object of thread class. What is T3, T4, T5? How many operations are there for me? 5. How many threads I'll create? Are they executing parallelly or not? Is understanding disturbing the breath? Is breath is disturbing the observation? Are they running parallel in my brain or not? Hence your brain is what? Multi-threaded. Don't tell this example anywhere. If you tell this example, go. Next, you are going on the way. Look at and how your brain is working. I am saying same thing. We need to write the coding because OS example I try to set. You did not catch me because faces are I can observe it. When I came to Gmail, slowly the 50% got it. Now by seeing this, everybody got it. Now, when you are going on the way, what are you doing? I thought you are jumping. So what are you doing? Observing the road or not? Observing the road. Because if I tell this example, it will become funny in the class. If I don't tell, you won't understand. OS based example, you did not understand properly. Observing the road, one flow of control is there or not? Next, walking is another kind of another kind of operation or not? Next, what are you doing? Are you talking in the phone or not? Yes, sir. Next, are you thinking something in the brain or not? Yes, sir. Next, seeing other side. If somebody is visible here, will you watch or not? You will watch here also. Left side, back side, all the sides. What is happening in your mind? Number of threads are there in your mind. These things are called what? Concurrent. Concurrent execution. Are you following me? As a faculty, what I am doing, I am a Python program. I am teaching, I am typing, I am thinking what to teach next. I am drawing, I am asking questions, I am moving my hands, taking breath. These are all one by one or after the all one by one or all at once? All at once. All at once execution is called multi-threading purpose. Purpose of multi-threading is what? Purpose of multi-threading is what? To provide concurrent execution, simultaneous execution, parallel execution is the purpose of multi-threading. Shall I move forward? Online students, I hope you are understanding about. So, I hope you are following about what I am saying here. You come to this, if somebody asks you the questions, what is the purpose of multi-threading? You try to say. My OS is providing the services to multiple apps which I am opening it. It is known as what? Simultaneous processing, concurrent execution. Go for next, a Gmail server or Yahoo server or any Facebook server is Twitter server is providing the responses to what? Crores of people who are connected to it at that point of time. The responses which are giving to crores of people simultaneously is known as implementation of what? Threads. So what is the purpose of multi-threading? To provide concurrent execution. For telling this sentence, I repeated 5 times so far. What is the purpose of multi-threading? To provide concurrent execution. To provide? Yes. I'll show you the example also. Very perfectly, I'll come to that. What is the advantage of multi-threading? What did you observe it? When you do this work parallelly, what is an advantage is coming? Within less time, I can complete my operations or not? Yes, but there is a drawback is also there. Too much multi-threading if you apply, there is a drawback is also there. That is called a deadlock occurrence. That is the second level programming we are going to talk. Two models are there. Simultaneous execution. During simultaneous execution, we'll get the problem of what? Deadlocks. Elimination of deadlocks comes under what? Next level example of threading. So first you try to understand instead of concentrating on next level, You try to understand purpose of multi-threading, definition of thread you understand, then I'll enter into the programming part. First, are you clear about the title? What is the purpose of multi-threading? To provide also called simultaneous execution. All at once execution is known as concurrent execution. Another type of execution is what? Sequential execution. Sequential execution is known as what? Single threaded modeling language we can call. I will introduce that terminology. Up to here clear? What is the definition of thread? A flow of control is called thread. Multi-threading is different from thread. If a Python program contains multiple threads, then that program is called multi-threaded. Multi-threaded program purpose is to provide concurrent execution. What is the thread definition? A flow of control is called thread. Why do you create a thread? The purpose of creating a thread is to perform my operations concurrently, whose logic is written in the form of functions. Whose logic is written in the form of functions. Listen is an operation. Understanding is an operation. These are all called functions. Every thread is meant for performing an operation simultaneously, whose logic is written in the form of methods. So far, how we executed the methods, and from now onwards, how I am executing the methods, I am going to show you. So far, how I was executed the methods, one after the other. That is known as what? Sequential execution. But now I will do what? All at once I will execute. One by one execution takes how much time? All at once execution will take how much time? I am showing the difference. With the timing counting, with the time measurement, I will show you. Let's go on listening the class. Let's go on listening the class. Now I am going to take. What is the definition of thread? A flow of control is called thread. What is the purpose of thread? The purpose of creating thread is to perform certain operation, whose logic is written in the form of methods. Because methods are used for performing operation. How we decided to perform the operations? Simultaneously, concurrently, parallelly. So I will use which concept? Threads. Threads I will use it. What is the difference between threading and non-threading? Non-threading will do one after the other. Threading will do what? That's all. Simple, student. You are the student. You have some 10 works in your home. Some function is there. You need to do 10 works. You are alone. How you do the 10 works? One after the other by yourself only. Morning to evening. Instead of that, that person is having 10 friends are there. He will call 10 friends. 10 friends are called what? 10 threads. He will do that. He will say, do this 10 works. They are doing all at once or not? One person, one work, one person, another work, another person, another work. Rather than taking half an hour, 10 half an hours, 5 hours by one person, 5 half an hours can be done by 5 people parallelly. What is the completion time? So which is the best execution? Concurrent execution. And there is a drawback is also there. To eliminate the drawback, we will go for deadlocks concept is there. We'll eliminate that. We'll example that part we will go for it. Now I am going to say this type of multi-threading is a language based topic. Actually in OS, what is the diagram which I written is comes under what? This word is called what? I said threading part of it. We call it as what? Multitasking we can call. Spell out. In OS level, it is known as multitasking. They brought into Java, they brought into CPP, they brought into what? .NET, they brought into where? Python on the name of what? Multi-threading. Multi-threading is one of the specialized feature of what? Multitasking. Multi-threading is one of the specialized feature of what? Multitasking. Multitasking is in where? OS level we can call. That multitasking in Python, Java, .NET, other languages we can call it as multi-threading we can call. Understand? Now I will go to some sort of another diagram. Another diagram I will introduce. With the diagrams I will explain. With the corresponding code also I will write it. Take care, students. Online students, did you understand up to here? Students in online, did you understand up to here? Subhabi is asking difference between methods and functions. So is it explained already or not? Methods and functions explained or not? When you write a subprogram inside the class, it is called a method. When you write subprogram without any classes and objects, we call it the functions. So many times I said, okay, let it be. Leave that part. Now I am going to say. Now I am going to say another kind of discussion. What I am going to discuss now. You come to the environment of C programming. You come environment of C programming or C++ programming. You come. So, coming to the point of it, C language and C++ environment, C++ environment, you come, C++ environment, you come. How this will execute? Now I am going to discuss. So those who know C language and C++, how you execute it, I don't know. Of course, this is supposed to tell in the class. This is called my function, student. What is my function here? Sum of. Next is called what? Sub of. Sub of. I'm going to write it. Next I'm writing here, multiplication of. MUL of. Next I'm writing div of. Div of. I'm taking. Div of. I'm taking. Next I'm going to take it what student? Mod of. This is my functions. These are called function calls you take it. For every function call, what is required, ma? These are all called what, student? Come on. Active function calls. For every function call, what will be there? Function definition also will be there. How I am defining the function in C language? Void sum of, I am writing some opening bracket. I will write some sort of what dash dash dash. You know what type of logic you will write for that. And I will write what? Closing the bracket. Like indentation, how you use in our Python, we are using closing bracket and opening bracket in C. And similarly, I will write what? Other functions also I will define. 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 These are my functions. Take care, students. Now I am going to say, this is called something like sub. Now I am writing like this. I am having what? Div. Like this, I am having many number of functions are there. Sub. And next is called, here I am writing div. Just leave it. Okay. Search. Replacing. So you remove that and then say div. Like that, in middle of it, some more functions are there. These are called other language kind of coding part. Okay. Now coming to the point back. How is your program execution starts with? How is your program execution starts with? Whenever you execute the C program, whether you know this point or not, I don't know. Actually, the C faculty has to show to you. It will come to where? First function call it will come. I am writing red in color. Red in color. So, or otherwise I will write like this. So I am writing something like this. The moment when it is coming to you, to trace out your program, you will go for what? F7 you will use it. F7 you will use it. It will be coming to some function. It will go to the sum function. It will go to the sum function. It will execute it. It will come back and it will come to where? Sub function. And it will go to sub function, execute it. It will come to MUL function. It will go to MUL function here. It will come to div function. Div function execution. It will come to mod function. Mod function also execute. How it is executing? One after the other. One after the other. It will come to this place called sub function. Next is called what? It will come to the function called what? MUL function. Next it is coming to the function called div function. It will come to the function called div function. Next it is coming to the function called modulus function. It is coming one after the other. The blue line which is written with arrows is called one thread. Is called one type of thread. This thread is called what? How many threads I am having here? Single thread is there. In C++ program execution, if the person taught to you perfectly, they have to print the name of the thread internally and they have to show. Only single thread is executing my operations one after the other. Here I am writing here the functions are executing. Functions are executing. How they are executing? One after the other. One after the other. Here the functions are executing one after the other. Here the functions are executing one after the other. Such type of functions are executed by one thread. Here the functions are executing one after the other. By what thread? By what thread? Single thread. By single thread. Hence, such a type of programming languages are called single-threaded modeling languages. We can call single-threaded modeling languages. Modeling languages, or such a type of languages also called as process-based applications. We can call. I'm covering the concept of it. Process-based languages or process-based applications we can call. Tell me, process-based applications or single-threaded modeling languages are taking what time to execute? Come on, tell me. More execution time. Why more execution time? Why more execution time? Because it is executing one by one and contains what thread? Single thread. Here, this I will write second point, students. Single thread contains what thread? Single thread is present. Single thread. In Python, I will show you. What is that single thread? I will show you. What are the multiple threads? I'll show you. Everything is more practical. Wait for a few more minutes. I'll show you. More time is taking. It will give you what type of execution? Which type of execution? Sequential execution. Sequential execution. Sequential execution. Why sequential execution? One after the other. Taking more time or less time, I said. That's why they are known as what, students? Heavyweight applications we can call. Heavyweight applications we can call. What do you mean by heavyweight applications? If any program is taking more execution time, we call it as what? Heavyweight application. This is an environment of which applications? Process-based applications, PBA. Or if you want, process-based applications. I'm writing here process-based applications I'm writing. So tell me, process-based applications contains how many threads? Come on, students. Single thread. What type of execution it provides? Sequential execution. What type of time it will take? More time. They are considered as what components? Heavyweight components. Now I want to go for, this is the timing of what? Process-based application. Now I'm coming to Python. This is before Python, what happened, I said. Understand? Good. Coming to the point of it, about the Python, I am going to take it. So online students, up to here, are you okay? Did you understand process-based application? Process-based applications contains what thread? Single thread. Provides which execution? Sequential. Takes more time. Considers what? Heavyweight. I'll show the execution also. I'll show you that. Next up, I'll come to which environment? Python environment I am going to take. Python environment I am going to take, students. Take care. Now I am going to take, in Python, two things are going to take, students. A big diagram, I will write it. You see, this is called, in this, I am going to write two diagrams, two things. This is called default environment. This is called default environment. This is called programmatic environment. I am writing on the top of it, Python execution environment. Python execution environment. Python execution environment. Execution environment. Right. Python execution environment I am writing. Well, here I am writing it now. Coming to the point back. Just for a minute. Are you able to see? Okay. Now I am going to say, take care, students. This is called which environment? Python default environment. Python default environment. That means default execution environment. So far what you have seen, I am talking about execution environment. Python default execution environment I am taking. Okay. And other side I will write Python programmatic Python. This is called default environment. Python programmatic execution environment. Python programmatic execution environment. Okay. Look at Python programmatic execution environment. Okay. Now look at both of them I am going to show. In Python, what I am having, same type of things I am going to take it. You take here also. You take here also. What is our discussion? You take it. Sum is my function. Sum is my function. Sub is my function. And next multiplication is my function. div is also my function. How many functions are there? 4. Obviously, what is happening? def sum of indentation body. def sub indentation body. How many definitions are there? So definition def sum of I am writing. Sum of I am writing. So dash dash dash. I will write it. Next I am writing def sub of I am writing something. And I will write the code over there. Okay. Next I will write it def. What is this now? mul of I will say d code I will write it. So actually you need to understand, but whether you will understand or not, little doubt about you. That's why I'm writing again. It takes for me 1 or 2 minutes extra. So coming to this point, these are the definitions. What are these called? What are these called? Function calls. What is f calls? Ani? Will you ask what is that f calls? Function calls. What this is now? Function definitions. Function definitions. Okay. Now I am going to say, take care students, function calls are here and these are called what? Function definitions are here. Now start. What I am going to say, execution done. Who will execute my Python program? Very good, PVM. PVM, correct. So thanks to God. If you say something else, Python, if you say I used to get disturbed. Who will execute Python program? Python? You try to sit tomorrow onwards on the dais. We are great people. Who will compile the Python program? Python compiler. Who will execute Python program? PVM. First said correct answer. They are thinking that that is the wrong answer. Who will execute Python program? PVM. All Python compiler now. So, who will execute Python program? PVM. Who will compile? Right. Come to. Who will come into picture now? Who will come into picture when you execute your Python program? Who will come? PVM will come. PVM will come into picture. So, understand this little diagrammatic property. PVM will come into picture. Whenever you execute your Python program, PVM comes into picture. Very nice. Do you know, students? PVM internally creates one thread automatically when program execution starts. That thread is first concentrating on first function call. What is it? Sum. It will go to the definition of sum. After that, it will come to the next statement called what? Sub. And next it will go to where? Some multiplication. It will go to the definition. It will come to the next part. It is executing my functions one after the other. Correct or not? It will execute like this. The line which I wrote it, the zigzag lines I wrote it, is called one thread. Internally, PVM contains one thread. Internally, PVM by default contains what thread? Single thread will contain. By default, PVM contains single thread. I will show practically. Contains what thread? Single thread. Single thread present. What is its name? Main thread. Single thread is a concept whose name is given by Python software developers as main thread. Spell out main thread. What is main thread? Is a default thread created by the PVM. So who will, when the program execution starts, who will come front? PVM. PVM initializes what thread? Main thread. What is main thread? Is a default thread name. So default execution of Python environment contains how many threads? One thread, single thread, whose name is what? Sir, can you show it? I will show. That is my next level I will come. So here it is containing what thread? Single thread, whose name is main thread. Execute my functions one after the other. Even in Python environment also, my functions are executed one after the other. It is also called which execution? Sequential execution. Are you following me? How you can imagine PVM and then the main thread? Like you are writing. You are writing with what? Come on. Penna. Wrong answer that is. You are writing with refill. Penna refill. Refill. That refill is called what? Main thread. That pen structure is called what? PVM. Inside the PVM, who is there? Main thread is there. Like that you imagine it. You don't tell in interviews. Keep it in the brain backside. You speak by keeping that background knowledge so that you can tell the subject very well. Now you tell me, who will execute the Python program actually? Main thread. Main thread is a part of what? So in the day one only, I can say PVM is not executing Python program. PVM is having one thread internally. That thread only will execute our programs. Beginning, if I say you cannot catch me, who will execute Python program? Main thread, which is a part of what? So when the program execution starts, who will come? PVM. PVM will create what? Main thread will execute our logics. Understand? Sir, can you show that? First program is that only. I want to show in this class difference between non-threading, difference with threading. Threading and non-threading with timing I will show you. So that I want to tell the advantages of multi-threading. Shall I move forward? Yes. Let's move to the further. Python programmatic execution environment I am going to discuss. Online students, are you understanding this PVM and main thread? Online students, please confirm it. Confirm it, all of you. Are you understanding this PVM and main thread? Now, coming to the next part of the subject. Next part of the subject. So, coming to the next part of the subject. So, Praveen said that not clear. Right. Now, I will continue my session. I will go to next part is called what? I am going to create. What are my functions are available? Same body I will take it. See students, I will take this. Which environment I am coming? Programmatic environment I am coming. Programmatic environment I am bringing now. Come on here. Who is coming? When the program execution starts, who will come into picture? PVM. Program execution is coming. Which environment? PVM. Okay, ready. PVM is ready. Now PVM is ready to display. So I'm going to take it PVM here. When the PVM comes into picture, who is going to come into picture first? Come on. Main thread is created, right? Main thread is created. Once main thread will come into picture, once main thread is coming into picture, this is called main thread. I will write empty here. I will write what? Main thread. This main thread, I will write a beautiful code in Python. What is that? I will make my main thread to create, to instantiate, to fork my own threads. When you are sitting in the class, you create multiple threads. One listening, one understanding, one observation, and silence maintaining, and moving the head. All these things you will create. Like that, whenever you come to the programmatic environment, the moment when the execution starts, I will write a beautiful code. What is that? I will make my main thread to create what? One thread. which is concentrating on execution of what? What is this T1 is called? One object. Do you know how to create an object of socket? Socket dot socket of. Do you know how to create an object of thread? Do you know how to create an object of list? L1 is equal to list of. T1 is equal to dict of. How do you create an object of thread? T1 is equal to thread of. Because syntax is somewhat is there, but T1 is equal to thread of. Because already we know whoops also. T1 is equal to thread of. What is T1? Object of thread class. Next, I created. Who is providing that thread class? Python only provides. C language, C++ does not contain threading module is not there. Threading header file is not there. That's why they are called what? Process-based languages we can call. Who will provide this thread libraries, thread module? Python only will provide. Java thread class is there. Runnable interface is there. That story is different. Since we are in Python, we are going to talk about it. I will create one more type of thread. For which purpose? Sub execution. I will create one more type of thread. Who is going to create all these threads? Main thread. Main thread is the boss for subthreads. And then main thread will create one more thread called what? div. div. Then tell me, these threads will go to the corresponding definition. They are executing parallelly. They are executing parallelly. Tell me now, what did you understand with my explanation? How many threads are there in this program? Two types of threads are there. One is called main thread. One more is called subthreads. What is T1 and T2, T3, T4 are called? Subthreads. T1, next is called T2, next is called T3, next is called T4. What is T1, T2, T3, T4 are called? Subthreads. What is who is managing the subthreads status? That's all. Who is creating the subthreads, ma? Programmer is writing the code. Such a code is executed by the main thread, which is a part of what? PVM. Come on, what is this now? Subthreads. Who is that? Subthreads. Tell me now, by default, how many threads are there in Python? One thread. What is that thread name? Main thread. Main thread only will execute all of them. All the functions will execute but by main thread only. Now, programmatic environment you come. Beautiful example this is. Programmatic environment. When my program starts, I'm not going to executing all of them. I'm calling my subthreads. T1, T2, T3, T4 I'm creating. These threads will execute all my functions simultaneously and gives what time to execute? Less time is executing. Due to this, here two threads are there, student. One is called what? Main thread. How to print it, I will say you. I will execute and I will show you. Very shortly I will come. Even I am eagerly waiting for it. Second is called what? Subthreads. Subthreads. How many subthreads you can create? One or more. One or more you can create. Am I correct or not? Subthreads. Main thread and next is what? Subthread. How many main threads will be there? One. How many subthreads? One or more. That is called the default environment of programmatic environment of. Some sound is going on, listen. This is called what? Programmatic environment. Programmatic environment contains how many threads? Two threads. One subthread, one or more, one silence. Programmatic environment contains two threads. One main thread, one or more subthreads. Understand? Default environment contains how many threads? Only one thread. What is that name? Right. What is the use of subthread? The use of subthread is executing the logic written in the form of functions. Whatever the logic is there inside the functions, which are executed by what? Thread. Which thread? Subthreads. In the case of programmatic. Suppose if there is no programmatic, default thread only will execute. Main thread only will execute all of them one by one. Default environment, whole and soul, everything executed by main thread only. When you come to programmatic environment, who will execute my functions? Subthreads. Who is managing this T1, T2, T3, T4? Main thread. Simple, students. Your parent, your three siblings are there. Some three works are there. Your parent will say what? Do three works by three people, they will say. And he is a main thread or not? He is saying to you, one, two, three siblings are there. He will do all the three one by one or not? That is called which environment? Programmatic environment. So you suppose he is only one. You went to different offices. He is only one. You need to do three works. He will not wait until you come. You only will do the three works one by one. What that environment is? Default environment. Now, last point I will say. Who will subthreads will execute what? If at all subthreads are there, what subthreads will execute? Functions, which contains what? Logic, where some operation can be performed. When I am having subthreads, what main thread will do? Main thread will execute the statements written in the main program. Subthreads will execute the functions logic. Main thread will execute the main program entries and managing the execution status of subthreads. I will show you that whether they are executing, not executing, so much of stuff I will explain. It's quite interesting. Manaku ardhamavutayi if you understand. So, coming to the point of it, main thread will do what? Monitoring the execution status of subthreads. Means what? Are they executing or not? Are they completed the execution? All this checking process. Plus, it will execute the statements written in which program? Main program. You know main program. Next, what subthreads will do? Execute the functions whose logic is written. So in my main program, main thread is there, subthreads are there. What are the things doing? Subthreads will do the functions execution. Main thread will execute the main program entries, which is not called a multiple flows are going on in my program, which is known as what? Multi-threading program. Shall I go to the program once? Students in the online, did you understand this second diagram? Execution environment, did you understand? Once again, respond it. Come on, students. Right. Now try to respond, students. So programmatic environment and then what? Programmatic environment and default environment. Default environment's number of threads is equal to 1. What is its name? Main thread. Single thread కాదమ్మా main thread. Because name ku number ki difference ఏది లేదు. How many number of threads? Default environment 1. What is its name? అంతే. How many threads? 1. What is its name? That's all. How many number of threads? Single thread. What is its name? Single thread. Single thread, you will get a problem. Fix it. Fix it. Now I am going to enter into the next level. Coding I am going to come. Coding part I am going to come. Now I am entering into the coding time to see. To show my execution, to show my explanation. Now I am saying program for demonstrating single thread name. Single thread name. In which program? Python program. Python program. And whose name is which thread? Main thread. Whose name is main thread? Shall we write? Good. Look at print. I am writing. This is multi-threading class. Multi-threading class. I am writing. This is called which program? I am writing started today. Started today. I am just writing started today. Right. Now I am going to write it. On the top of it, I am writing print of thread name. Default thread name I am going to write it. Default thread name I am going to write it, comma. There is one function is there, students. There is one function. What is that function name? Current underscore thread. Current underscore thread. Which will print the name of the thread. Every function belongs to what? ఎందుకై మీరు మాడ్యూల్. Module is a collection of variables, functions, class names. Every function belongs to module. Every method belongs to class. Every class belongs to module. Method function. Function belongs to module. Method belongs to class. Class belongs to module. Already you know that. Right. Now this current thread is a method which is present into where? Threading module. Threading dot current thread. If I don't write this threading, you see what is an error is coming. I will write it. I will write it. Default thread example. The default thread example 1.py. Default thread example 1.py. Go to the place, students. I'll just say here, execute. Go to the command prompt, d:, kvr, python, 6 p.m, cd, threads here, execute. See students, py, default thread name, error is coming. What is that error you see? Default thread example. Come on, read out. Current thread is not defined. It is a name error or not? It is belongs to the module name called what? Threading. Threading. Okay. Threading. Dot. What is threading? Module. Come on. Import threading. Import threading. Long ago modules completed. 7 syntaxes are there. 2 approaches are there. Import statement, from import. Import 4, from import 3. Last one, star approach, not recommended. But you will remember that only. It's psychology. So, you print it. It will print a big pair. It will print a big pair. You just observe it. You see, it is printing. Default thread name is something is printing. What is this? Main thread, whose starting ID will be there. One main thread is nothing but one internal flow. That flow will have some number. Our underlying OS will give for that. I want only this one. I want to extract only that. From my cursor object, I got only row count. Na? How do you get row count? Cursor dot row count. And your basic example, favorite example, A is equal to 2 plus 3j. A dot real. What will print? 2. A dot imag will print what? That will give you what? Both of them. Both of them. Now this is called what? This is giving complete meaning or not? From there I will say dot what? Name I will say. Name. What is that name is coming? Right. If you want to get it that, instead of worrying about that, I will say, why to make an experiment with you? I will say what? Something like T, I will write it. T. Current thread will give you the name of the thread. I am writing T. I say, 1 minute. T is printed the same answer. T is printed. T dot name I will say. T dot name. It is going to print the name of the thread. What is that thread name? Main thread. So people will ask tomorrow, what is the default thread name in Python? Main thread. How many threads are there? 1. Single thread is bhayam ayipoyindi sir. How many? 1. How do you print that 1, sir? Easy, sir. I will write here print of number of active threads. Number of active threads. Number of active threads is equal to comma threading dot active underscore count. How simple this function is. Threading dot active underscore count. Active count. Suppose for example class is going on. Those who are speaking called active count. They are keeping some lock in both the sides are called what? Inactive students. Execute. What is the answer is coming? Number of active threads are what? 1. What is the thread name? Main thread. Who is executing my main program? Is it a main program or not? Who is executing my main program? Main thread is a part of what? Right. Who is executing Python program? PVM. When PVM starts executing, what is created? Main thread. Do you know how to get the main thread? I will explain once again what is the current thread. What is name? I will explain once again. Are you understanding? Good. Now I am going to second example also I am going to tell. With the functions with the main program I will write it. Online students, did you understand up to here? Online students, please respond it. You need to respond students. Now I am going to tell default thread example 2. Online students, please tell me. Respond. Good. Coming to next. Main program I am writing. Main program. Which environment still I am going for? Which environment still I am going for? Default environment only. Now, DEF, something like hello. Hello. I am writing. Next I am writing print of what? Hello. I am writing. Hello, good evening. I am saying. Suppose for example like this. So, next I am writing DEF. What I am saying now? Hi. I am saying some value I am writing, some message I am writing, MSC. I am writing here, writing like this, say here, something like, so good night I am saying. Next I am writing dot format of what? Come on, MSC, MSC. Next I am writing DEF, something like welcome. Is also called one more type of message. So I am writing here, welcome to Python classes. Welcome to Python classes. I'm taking. This is my subject. How many functions are there? 3. Okay, now, which environment? Default environment. Okay. Now, see students. I'm going to take up. Can I print the, see, main program execution started. Everything I am showing. Point to point I am showing. Print off. Program execution started. Program execution started. Program execution started. Okay, started. Now, I'll take some small flow. Some small flow I'm going to start. Program execution started. Inside the program execution, what is happening, I will show you. Program execution ended. Program execution ended. I'm going to write it. Now in middle of it, what is happening in the middle of it, I'm going to show. Program execution ended. Okay. In middle of it, what is happening, you see. I will print the thread name also. Thread name also I'll print. Which thread name? Main thread. And what is the default thread? Print name. What is that? Default thread name is equal to comma threading dot current thread threading dot spelling mistake I will write it threading dot current underscore thread dot name. Can I write directly? Good. Now, what is the answer is coming there? Main thread. After that, you call. What is the function name? Hello. Next is called what? Hi. Hi, some message you pass it. Now I am writing like this. Next I am writing what? Welcome. Welcome. Who is going to execute these functions now? Main thread only. Come on, now I will show the flow. Program execution started from here. Default thread, main thread is printed. Hello is the function name. It will go to which line? Hello. And it will execute. It will come back to once again hi. Hi function, it will go to once again to hi. It will execute it. It will come back to once again welcome. It will go to welcome function once again. Right or not? Yes, who is going to do this process? Right. Main program started, line numbers go Russian. Line number 15. Now line number default thread name. Line number what? 17. This type of statement I will write. How do you know that this is executed by default thread only? That's the question or not? How do you know that this is executed by what? Default thread only. That's what I'm writing. I am writing the same statement. Same statement I will write it. Observe it. Line number 5. Line number 5. Default thread name. Which function? Which function? Hello function. Default thread name line number 5 hello function. Same answer is coming. Good evening. This is completed. Backslash n. Same type of function I will write it in which place also? Lining this place also here. This place also line number 9. Line number 9. What is this function now? Hi. Next is called I will write in this place also. What is this now? Line number 13. What is the function name? Welcome. So I'm writing here called what? Welcome. I'm writing here welcome. So in all the places, which thread only printed? Main thread, main thread. Are you following me? Right. Now coming to the point back. If you want, default thread name is in which line? 20th line. Correct or not? 20th line. Now after that, hello. It is nothing but after hello, where it is coming? 21, no? 21 it will go to where? Line number 4. Executed. Is it coming to hi next? No, it will go to where? Main program. It will go to main program. Right or not? So if you want, I can write it. What is that? I will write it, student. Printer. What is that? I will write it. Main thread came to where? Came to which program? Main program. Which line it is? 22. 22. Again after this hi, again came to which line? 24. I'm showing the flow. Again came to where? 26. And why I'm showing this entire flows for you? Because to understand the flow of the threads. To understand the flow of the threads. I will continue my class. I'll show you that. It will be clarified, ma. It will be clarified. It is very easily clarified. Otherwise, I will give the chance for you. It will be clarified. No doubt in that. No doubt in that. That's why I'm not talking. It will be clarified. Whatever you ask, that will be clarified. No doubt in that. Come to the point back. Now I am going to say executed. Did you understand the flow? Now I will execute. Who will execute all these functions? You tell me. That's all. Main thread. Let me go to that. I'll say here execute. See that now. Py. I'm writing now. See the answer. Come on to the point of it. Program execution started line number 15. Default thread name line number 20 main thread. Default thread line number 5 hello. What is the thread name? Good evening is an answer. Main thread came to main program line number 22. Default line hi function main thread only. And hi Rosam good night. Main thread come to main program going to line number 13 again welcome function. And welcome to Python classes is an answer. Main thread came to the program number 26. Program execution ended or not? How many threads are there? Single thread is there. One thread is there. What is its name? Main thread. Are you okay? Fine. This kind of what? This kind of statement. This kind of statement is called what? Total functions are executed by what? Only one thread. Next I am going for because of only one thread. What is the time consuming process I am going to explain? Can I? Time measurement I am going to do. With the threading, without threading, non-threading program, with the threading program, difference. Right? Shoaib Khan. Now I am going to that only, my dear student. Now I am going to that only. Shall we start? Yes. Now I am going to say. What is that? So I am going to take one more program. Next program. After that, I will show my documentation. With the timing, I will show you. Program for displaying. Program for displaying squares and what? Cubes. 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 Without threads. Without threads, I am going to take. DEF. What is my function name? Squares. One list is taking. Pass. One more I will write it. DEF. Cubes. One list I am taking. And I am taking here pass. And coming to main program. Coming to main program. What is my LST here? some 12 comma 4 comma minus 5 comma 6 comma 13 comma some 19 comma some 5 comma some 35. This is my given data. Something like 17. This is my given data. Are you following? Yes. Who is going to execute my thread? I'll take some entries. Online students, listen carefully. If you understand it, there is a much taste in this code. Now go for it. Default thread name, line number. Default thread name in which program? Which program? Main program. Printed the thread name. Coming to this list. Now call it as what? Come on first. Squares of what? LST. Go to LST squares. Now I will print. What is that? For value in LST. Print. I am going to say thread name I will print. Thread name I will print. I'll say, what is this? I am writing here. What is this? Square of, I'll say, is equal to like this. Dot format of. Huh? Format of. Threading dot. My dear students, listen the class. Threading dot. What is this now? Current thread. Huh? Okay, dot I will take. Current thread dot what? Name. That is for what? Thread name I am printing. Comma. Val for this part. And another one is what? Val, comma what? Star 2. This will give you that part. Now I want to print that value one after the other. For good logic purpose, I will say time dot sleep of some 1 second. Value by value I am printing. So I will import what? Time. Import what? Time. Okay. Comma what? Threading also. Okay, nice. Similarly, I will get it this data to what? Sleep also I will get it. This part also. Cubes also I will print it. What is this now? What is this now, students? Tell me. Here I am writing print of cubes. I will write it. Cubes. I will write it. This is called squares. Cubes. Same thing. I'll write what here? 3. So this part you observe. Squares. Next is called what? Cubes of. What I am saying? LST. Huh? So for loop. Okay, good. For value in LST. Correct. Value in where? LST. Okay, students. Now I will execute. Who will execute these threads also? Who will execute this? So tell me, when this is started the flow, when the flow is started, it will go to where first? Squares. After printing that, it will come to which program? Main program. Again, it will go to where? Cubes. Are they executing one by one or all at once? One by? Okay. Now, during this time, I need to record my timing. Single thread will display the squares. Single thread will display the cubes. Right or not? Two works are done by what? Single thread. I will record my time. Before I am coming to my class, 6:10 I will note, for example. At the end of the class, I will note my time. Ending time minus beginning time is what? Total execution time. BT is equal to beginning time. What is BT? Don't ask later. BT, beginning time, is equal to time dot time. It will give you milliseconds of difference of time. Calendar dot calendar. Time dot time. Sys dot exit off. Sys is module. Exit off is called function. Time is a module. In the time, what is the function name? Time off. So you don't get tension when I use time dot time off. What is that? All of a sudden, time is called a module and time off is called a function name. Why to get it? I will take it here. What is this now? Ending time. ET is equal to ET. Print of what? Total execution time. Total execution time of the program. Total execution time of the program of this execution time of non-threading application, non-threading program is equal to comma what I say here dot format of what et minus bt, et minus bt. Are you following me? Et minus bt. Program execution ended. I say, of course, that is going to be giving. Shall I execute my program? So I'm giving here non-threads, 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 execution 1.py, execution 1.py. Save this. So coming to the point back, executing. See, now you see the thing and don't look at me during the execution. You look at on the screen only and feel heartfully what is going on. Default thread, main thread. Main thread is executing what now? Squares. After that, main thread will execute what? Cubes. After that, cubes started executing one by one or all at once? One by one. Now timing is going to come. Execution time is 18.10 milliseconds. When 18.10 seconds of time is taken. Are you following that? Same program I will execute by using threads. This is executed by only one person, main thread, main thread, main thread. Cubes function, squares function, executed by which thread? Main thread. That student, Spetzel. Are you understanding, ma? Just stand up once. How many threads are there in this program? Ma? Main thread. How many? How many are there? One. Okay, following na? Sit down. Now I will go to 18 point. This is the execution time. And don't execute in your system also 18.0. Depends on what 17.0, 17.99. It differs from one execution to another execution. Are you following? Right. Coming to same program, I will write using threading. You don't know syntax of how to create a thread, but I'm going to explain the next session. Today I will show you all of a sudden threading example how to do it. Okay, now I will take this. Copy. Same to same. Even the program is bigger now. Threading program you see here. This is my coding. This is my coding. This is my coding. This displaying the squares with the threads. With the threads. This is called what? With the threads. With the threads. Example. Now I am going to take it. Create a thread object. Create a thread object for executing what? Squares. I am calling one specialized person to execute squares. I am calling another specialized person to execute what? Cubes. I never bother about in which order they are giving squares and cubes, whether they are getting the results or not. Are you following me? Simple, ma. I hand over two tasks for you. I am not seeing whether they are doing order or not. I never bother about it. Suppose I am sitting on one machine, another person is separating sitting. You are sending a request for squares, you will get squares only. Somebody is sending for what? Cubes. That person will get the cubes. But that person, common program is what? Generating cubes and squares. But in this program, both of them are writing in the same place. Order is not going to come. Why? Two people are executing simultaneously. That you have to notice it. Did you understand this? Yes. Start. Now I am creating. T1 is equal to, there is a class name called thread. Thread is a class. Every class belongs to dash module. What is the module name? Threading. Now itself we can understand because you have seen a lot of programming things. What is the threading? What is the thread? That's all. In that, what is T1? Object created to execute what? Squares. So you have to specify inside the constructor which this T1 is targeted to which function to execute. I will write one keyword argument called target is equal to function name of the object. That is an object name. What is the function name? Squares. Squares. Squares is a function name. Comma. Args is equal to. This thread has to carry which values? One argument it has to carry. That is represented in the form of tuple. What is it? LST comma. LST comma. LST comma. Don't know that. By looking at you, I understand. Go to A is equal to 10 of 19 of. Print of what? A comma type of A. What is that A? Huh? So see that int. ఇంకా పైథాన్ జాయిన్ అవ్వండి కొత్తగా. Now I am saying, now తెలుసు మీరు అది చెప్తారని 19 comma I said 19 comma, now it is what? Tuple. Beginning days, that is the story. అందుకనే చదువుకోమని చెప్పేది. Args is equal to LST comma. Yes ma, show up on, you know na, very good. Those who knows, no stop. Those who don't know, problem. Target is equal to function. That means T1 is targeted to execute what? And it is carrying which data? So T1 is called one flow of control or not? Whose name T1 is called what? Object. Whose name is thread-0. What is T1? Object. What is its name? Thread-1. Sorry, thread-1. Your object, your name. Who are you? You are an object. You have one name or not? Yes. What is the name here? What is its name? What is its object name? T1. What is its name? I'll show it. I will show it. Next. Another create another thread. Create an object for executing what here? Cubes. You say. What is this now? Target is equal to what? Cubes. Now say what here? T2. Target or args is equal to same or not? T2. What is it? T2 is equal to what? Thread2. What is the main thread name? Come on, students. Main thread. Main thread. So, main thread is there. Inside the main thread, what I am creating? Subthreads. Now subthreads are fully ready. My bus is prepared. Now who need to come? Driver. Driver will push the start button or not? Start means what? Dispatching. I say dispatch the threads. Dispatch the threads. Dispatching means what? Send them from main program to what? Functions. When I say to dispatch it, T1 dot what? Start. Start is an instance method in which class? Because I am calling object name dot method name. It is not module name dot method name. No. Object name dot method name. L1 dot append, L1 dot clear, L1 dot copy, like that. Okay. Next is what? T2 dot start. Who is dispatching? Who is dispatching, boss? Main thread. Simple, you are there. I said go and do this function, go and do this function. Am I dispatching you or not? Once you are dispatching, where threads will go? Where threads will go? This place. What is printed? Threading dot current thread dot name. What is printed? Thread1. What is printed here? Thread2. Thread1 is doing its own job. Thread2 is doing its own job. But who is executing main program? Main thread. Main thread is executing. And a main thread, I will call what? Find the time. Find the time. Come on, how do you find? ET is equal to time dot time of. Already beginning time is there or not? And come on now. What is that now? I will take up here this line. Total execution time of this. Of course, I will change the code, students. I am showing that. Because if I write direct coding, you will get problem. That's why I will show you and I will write it. Execution time of threading program. With the threading program, with the threads program, that is perfect line. I say ET minus what? BT. My dear students, observe one trick in this. Program execution started from which line? 14. Printed what? Main thread. Main thread printed. LST. Done, done, done. LST. Who is dispatched it? T1. And also dispatched what? When I dispatched you, main thread is not simply sitting idle at the line number 23. Line number 23 is not sitting idle. Main thread will execute what? Continuous statements. That means subthreads are still under execution. My main thread is giving the total execution time. I'll show you that. First you see that. See that main program, I will write it. This is called a main program total execution time I am saying. You save this code. You save this code because if you see that answer, I will change a small point. Now see that, come out of that and execute. Now see students, PY, see now, you see what is coming 0.0. Who is giving this main program total execution time is what? 0.0. Who is printing that? Main thread. But still my subthreads are executing or not? See that. Thread 1, thread 2, thread 1, thread 2, thread 1, thread 2. That's why this line of code should not be executed immediately. What should I do? When main thread is dispatched, main thread has to wait until subthreads are going to join with what? Main thread. You are a parent. You taken your 2 kids to the shopping. They went to different shopping. Will you come to home? Or yes, sir. They are very kids. I said kids. If you come to home, they will be mismatched. They will go somewhere, right? You will wait until they join with you, right or not? So I will say, join the threads, I will say. Join the threads. Join the subthreads. With what? With which thread? Main thread. How do you join? T1 dot join. And the next is what? T2 dot join. That means after joining only, what is this? Measure the time. After joining means they complete and joined with me. That time I will find the execution time. Did you understand? Now see the beautiful execution now. Observe it. Coming to that previous program you execute non-threading example once. Online students, are you following me? So cubes are coming. Good. Now it is going to give you total execution time is what? 18.10. This is called which one? Non-threading. Now I am going to say PY. What is my program? With the threads. With the threads. Careful. With the careful. Main thread is there. Thread 1, thread 2. Thread 1, thread 2. Parallelly they are executing. Each person is doing its own job. Look at the answer now. What is the answer now? How many threads are there in my program? 2 threads. What is an execution time? Earlier thread is how much? Which one is faster? Threads. Did you understand the meaning of multi-threading? Multi-threading, these threads provides what execution? Sequential or concurrent? First one is called what? Default sequential. This is programmatic concurrent. Inకొక example చెప్తాను మీకు. I'll say here. How many threads are active here? How many threads are active? 3. I will continue my class. Now, after creating the thread, what is the T1, T2? Thread 1, thread 2. I will say, look at ma. I will say, after these 2 threads are created, I will write here print of number of active threads. Number of active threads is equal to comma threading dot. What is that? Active count. Active underscore count. This I am calling before dispatching. Before dispatching, are they active or not active? Not active. Not active. Please look at. Only one answer will come. Only one is coming. Number of active threads are what? 1. I don't want to write before dispatching. After dispatching, I will write. I will show you that also. Go to that. number of active threads before dispatch, before dispatch, before dispatch, number of threads after dispatch, number of threads after joining, number of threads after joining. After joining, what will happen? They completed. They are completed. Those object memory space collected by whom? Garbage collector. Number of active threads after joining. 1 now. 0 now. మనం ఏం చెప్పలేము ఇంకా. After joining. Who said 0 ma? So you see that. See that number of active threads 1. Number of active threads after dispatch 3. After joining what? 1. This is called a life cycle of the thread. ఇంకా చూసేది ఏముండదు ఇంకా చెప్తే వినాలి. Number of active threads after joining 1. After dispatch 3. Before that 1. It is called a life cycle of the thread. Which thread will born first? Main thread. What are dispatched? Subthreads. Subthreads do the work. Joined with whom? Main thread will intimate to garbage collector. GC will come. Destructor will destroy the memory space of what? T1 and T2. T1 and T2. What are the active threads after joining? Main thread. Main thread is also one object. After total program is completed, main thread also destroyed by the PVM by intimating to garbage collector. That is the end of the program. That is called a life cycle of the threading. Understand this point? So, coming to this 9 point, even though I write a lengthy program, 31 lines are written, this only 20 lines are written, even though program is lengthy, taking less time or not? So, threading will take less time or non-threading will take more time? Threading will take less time. Did you understand the meaning of threads? Now I will give you what is the name of the threads. You got it? Thread 1, thread 2, thread 3. Now I am going to write it. Some name I will give my dear students. See that T1 dot name is equal to T1 dot name is equal to, I am writing something like Rosam is executing even threads, and the next is called what? T2 dot name. See how easy. T2 dot easy is executing what? Travis is executing. See that now your execution starts here. Two people are giving user friendly names. I am giving user friendly name. So what is happening? I will disturb this. Right? Thread 2 I think is not given. Same thing is given. I hope so. Go to that T2 dot name I will give. It is replaced with. Yeah. Go to that now. See that Rosam Travis. Rosam Travis. They are going to execute that. That is called user friendly name to the thread. Locking concept also I will tell you. Understand, students? See, the more lines of code I am writing, still program is reducing. Earlier 9.10, it is a 9.06 is coming. Are you following? So, I am giving my own threads. This is called what? With the threads. So, you need to understand what is the thread class, what is the target, all those things. By the time you understand, tomorrow I will go for module name I will discuss. Students in online, did you understand this example? Did you understand this example? All the students in the online understood. So are you understanding the difference between threading and non-threading? Look at this one documentation. I will show you a small example. I'll go for it. So here I'm going to take it. So here I'm taking threads. Follow me. Here I'm taking small documentation, types of applications in multi-threading. Just to see the main purpose of whatever is explained to you, please read out. The purpose of multi-threading is that to provide a concurrent execution or simultaneous execution or parallel execution. Executing all at once is called concurrent execution. In industry, we have two types of applications. One is process-based, thread-based. Process-based applications. Process-based applications contains single thread. Process-based applications provides sequential execution. Process-based application takes more execution time. Process-based applications are treated as heavyweight components. Are you following, students? Yes. Next, thread-based applications. Thread-based applications contains default single thread, and programmatically we can create multiple threads. You have seen it. Next, thread-based applications provide both a sequential and concurrent. Next, thread-based applications takes what? Less execution time. Thread-based applications are treated as lightweight components. Example, Python, Java, C#, .NET, etc. One more small diagram I will say. Introduction to thread-based application I want to show. Start. The purpose of multi-threading is same sentence. Concurrent execution is nothing but executing operations all at once. The advantage of concurrent execution is that taking less execution time. In Python program, if a Python program contains multiple threads, then it is called a multi-threading program. Definition of thread. Start. A flow of control is called thread. Next, the purpose of thread is that to perform certain operation whose logic is written in the form of functions or methods concurrently. Each thread is doing, squares is doing one thread or not? Cubes is done by one thread or not? So what is that meaning is called? Threads are meant for executing methods or functions. Understand? What is the thread definition? Flow of control. By default, every Python program contains single thread whose name is, it will provide which execution? Yes, you have seen it already. Next, programmatically, in a Python program, we create multiple sub or child threads whose purpose is to execute operation whose logic is written in the form of functions or methods concurrently. Hence, programmatically, Python program contains two types of threads. Programmatically, this is, they are main thread, sub or child threads. Main thread created or initiated by PVM when the program execution starts, and whose role of main thread is to execute main program statements and monitoring execution status of subthread. If subthread present, the subthread or child thread always executes the operations or logic written in the form of functions or methods concurrently. Multi-threading with functional programming, multi-threading with, oops, I will use it. That is next level when we come. Multi-threading with functional, multi-threading with whoops. After discussing threading module with a detailed discussion. So that's what tomorrow I'm saying. No? Syntaxes, functions, point to point. Like taking your hand and then writing A, B, like that. Like that. Syntaxes I'll explain. Everything I'll explain. Are you following me? So these two things I will upload. These two things I will upload. Online students, I hope you are understanding. Tomorrow class, I'll continue the development of thread-based application. Threading module I will continue. This syntaxes